Guys, today I will be sharing how to make banana chocolate cupcake with Nutella frosting. For the ingredients, we need 2 eggs. I've got overripe banana here with lots of brown on it. If this is small bananas, if you have a big banana, you can only use 1, but I'm using 2 small bananas. 1 teaspoon of vanilla, half a teaspoon of coffee, instant coffee, half a teaspoon of salt, 1 teaspoon of baking soda, 3/4 cup of fresh milk, 1/3 cup of oil, vegetable oil, 1 cup of sugar, 1.5 cups of plain flour, and 1/3 cup of cocoa powder. I use Dutch process. To begin, we're gonna sift in the dry ingredients. So this is the 1.5 cups of plain flour, the 1/3 cup of cocoa powder, the salt, and the baking soda. To this, we're adding the instant coffee as well and the sugar. So we'll sift this. And then we'll set this aside. So now, we're just gonna mash the banana. For us to be the same, I weighed the bananas. It's about 162 grams. So just mash the banana. And then set this aside as well. Let's move on to the wet ingredients. So I've got the fresh milk in here. And then I added the 2 eggs. Using a fork, we're gonna whisk this together. At this point, add the vanilla, then the oil. Combine the dry and wet ingredients. And then mix. I'm using a spatula for this. Remember not to overmix. And finally, we're adding the mashed banana. By the way, your oven should be preheated at 180 degrees Celsius. So before you start making the cupcake, preheat the oven. And this is now ready to be baked. I have a cupcake pan lined with cupcake liner. And then I'm filling each hole about 3/4 of the way full. And then I will bake this in a preheated oven at 180 degrees Celsius for about 30 minutes or until when you insert a skewer in the middle and the skewer comes out clean. It is important to let it cool down in a wire rack. So now let's move on making the icing. We need 1/4 cup of Nutella, 1.5 cups of sifted icing sugar, 2 tablespoons of Dutch processed cocoa powder, half a cup of unsalted butter, and 1 teaspoon of vanilla. To begin, we're gonna combine the unsalted butter. Make sure that the butter is at room temperature. Then this is the 1/4 cup of Nutella. To this, we're gonna add the cocoa powder. And then we're just gonna, using an electric mixer, we're going to beat this. Until it is well combined. Then add 1 teaspoon of vanilla. Mix again. At this point, we can add the icing sugar. Add the icing sugar into addition. So when you add the first icing sugar, taste it. Oh, by the way, we also need 1 tablespoon of milk just to correct the consistency of the icing. At this point, I'm adding the last addition of the icing sugar. At this point, the icing is quite stiff, and to correct the consistency of the icing, I'm going to add 1 tablespoon of milk. And this is the right consistency that I'm looking for. So my cupcakes has cooled down, but the center is still a bit warm. So this is optional step. So I'm creating a hole in the center of the cupcake using an apple corer. If you don't have an apple corer, you can use a knife. And then inside, I'm gonna pipe in some Nutella. But again, it's optional. You don't have to do this. And then I'm covering the top with the discarded part of the cupcake. And then now pipe the buttercream, Nutella buttercream on top of the cupcake. I'm using Wilton 1M. And now we're just going to sprinkle some sprinkles. This is optional. This is just for decoration. On top of these, I'm using chocolate freckles and Maltesers. But you can decorate this whichever way you like. And this is the finished product. I hope you give this a try because I can guarantee that you're gonna like this. Banana and Nutella works together. So give it a try. It's easy to do. And just to show you what it looks like inside. Oh, that's my son. He wants to make an appearance on the video. And just to show you what it looks like inside. This is very light and moist inside. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you again next week. Bye!